Good afternoon, everyone. James Hicks here, Hicks New Media and Infotainment News. Welcome to another episode of ITN Live. Today we have a guest from the East Coast. I love the East Coast because that's where my extended family is. And when I saw the press release or press announcement for what this company does, I said, you know what, let me get them on and have a conversation. They do something very interesting. I know a number of folks in the mortgage lending business and the real estate business, and I thought this is a different dynamic in terms of that whole industry, and I wanted to get this company on. I've got the co-founder of this organization. She is a lawyer in the States and also in Costa Rica. She holds her master's degree, and again, like I say, is a co-founder of this organization called NestApple. So let me introduce you to Nicole Fishman. Nicole, how you doing today?
Hey James, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you again for the time to talk with us about who you are, what you do. I was very intrigued, like I was saying in the opening, like I said pre-show, in terms of the service offering that you offer. So if you could, before I continue to ask more questions, just give our audience a brief background of who you are and what it is also that you do.
Of course. Thank you for having us. So my name is Nicole Fishman. I'm from Costa Rica. I've been in New York for 8 years. Like everyone who comes to New York, I was supposed to be here for 6 months, and it's been 8 years. I started this company 3 years ago with my husband, and we saw there was an opportunity in real estate to kind of change things up a little bit and improve the way things had been done before. Real estate in New York is very specific and it's done very differently than any other parts of the country. Both parties are represented, the buyer and the seller, by brokers, and the fee structure is split, meaning for most deals there's a 6% commission. Buyer's broker gets 3%, seller's brokers get 3%. So we came up with the idea of providing a top-notch service, uh, listings, showing, negotiating, putting the board packages together, and getting you all the way to the closing table for a fraction of the price. So what does that mean? That instead of the 3%, we work for 1%. And the reason we thought this was more than enough is because the business model of real estate hasn't changed in the last 50 years in New York, but the way business is done has. Before these things were in the paper and brokers were faxing and sending telegrams and walking everywhere. Nowadays, everything is online. Consumers are savvy; they have access to all the information that we have access to. So as the technology has evolved and expedited and facilitated the way properties were being purchased and being sold, brokers hadn't changed their fees. So we thought, there was an opportunity since we had been on the tenant side and the landlord side, buyers, sellers, and we created a company. It's been a success so far.
Awesome. And I think that's one of the things that really drew me to what it is that you do. I'm a technologist by nature, and the fact that you're taking advantage of technology to work together with buyers and sellers, your clients, right, and taking
Right.
advantage of that's incredibly interesting. Now, you say you're in New York, and so I'll back up because we had a conversation about Costa Rica, and I told you I have a friend that I'm actually interviewing in a couple of weeks who's in Costa Rica. He's never coming back. All right, right. So, but you left and you came back. You came back to the States. With you being based in New York, are you only focused on real estate properties that are in New York, or are you across the country? How does it work?
So for now, I'm licensed as a broker to work in New York and in Connecticut. To be a broker, you have to have licenses per state. So me personally, I can do New York and Connecticut. Our goal is to take this business model and expand it. Like I've said, because New York real estate is so particular and the way fees are done and the way the transactions occur, I think the business model will apply to some states. It won't work for others. But the fact that we can share our commission and that users now have access to so much information should definitely change the fee structure everywhere, just because the system has changed, right?
Yeah.
So what we're saying is that it's just been obsolete the way that the numbers have worked, and the way things are being done just didn't justify the amount of money brokers were getting paid.
Got you. Now, I guess I'll ask the hard question, and I wonder because you're coming at it from a completely different shift, right? In terms of how things are done, and typically when you shake up an industry or you come with a different model, there's pushback, right? Or there's resistance. So talk to us a little bit about, have you seen some of that resistance from brokers, or whatever
For
the case
sure,
is?
yeah. So in New York, there's, I'm gonna say, 5 big companies that are very big. They're nationwide, and they lobby, and they're very strong within local government. So just to back up a little, most brokers in New York belong to an agency. That means that whatever commission they receive, they are splitting it among themselves and their agencies. Okay. So take, for example, one of the big guys, Douglas Elliman, Corcoran, Halstead. They, own properties in Fifth Avenue, and they have marketing departments, and they have IT departments, and they have these huge platforms that justifies the broker, splitting the commission with their own agency. So their clients get nothing back. How we see it is our overhead is minimum because I work for you, right? There's really no expenses that I need to incur that justify me getting all of it for myself and not being able to give that back to you. So it's kind of, we split the work in the sense that I give you access to the same information that I have because it's now available. I will not, provide you with flashy flyers, and we're not going to have you over for coffee at a conference room because nobody wants that. Nobody has the time for that. And it's actually just a waste of time and money. So it's just an opportunity to kind of, take advantage of the people's know-how and kind of just push forward.
That's an interesting point because you say you just give the customer what they need.
Yeah, I didn't answer your question though with the pushback. So these companies, right, they're not happy in the sense that they're not able to do that. They're not able to give their clients two-thirds back of their commission because it's just impossible mathematically. There's not enough money to split 3 ways, but there is enough money to split 2 ways, which is what we do, us and the clients. So our clients are 100% satisfied. Whenever they hear the idea, they always, engage because it's a win-win. There's other companies doing what we're doing because it's just going to be the next step where everyone is heading in that direction. The, more traditional, older, just more established agencies, of course, they push back because they want things to remain the way they are because it's the way for them to keep their business alive. I think it's just a matter of time before it just will stop because it just makes no sense. But even though we've received pushback, what I've always said is, listen, I'm giving you a legit buyer, or I'm providing, a legit property. My clients are serious, committed. They have their finances in order. Whatever they get or I get, it's really none of their business because it doesn't affect their share. Remember that I'm splitting my half. I'm not touching their half. So the pushback is more of an ego, kind of don't want things to change because I'm not touching their commission. Absolutely not.
And I'm sure that's the conversation that you have to have constantly, right? Because again, when it comes to dollars and cents, and I'm just gonna be realistic, right? New York real estate, that's you start talking some serious dollars and cents, right? So
the average property is $1 million. We're talking about $60,000 in commissions, split 2 ways, $30K per broker. If I kept 10 and I give you 20, you as my buyer will be very happy. Why not? My 10 is just for me. That's I'm not touching the 30 of the other broker, correct? So if you are a good, serious broker and you want to get the deal done and you want to just close on the property, you don't care what happens at my end of the table. So the good brokers, they don't care because they get it and they just want to close deals. If you are struggling, if you are old school, if you just don't want things to change, if you want to make a point, if you have all these egocentric personalities that are very frequent in New York City, then of course they're going to push back and they're going to fight. But in the end, you have a service to provide for your clients, which means to buy or sell a property. So if you do your job, you just, have to deal with whoever's on the other side of the table.
Got you. Great points. Let me ask, and I'm asking a lot of folks that I talked to within this last 4 or 5 months. The world is shut down, Right. It really is. I can't just say my state or my city is shut down. Yeah, the world is shut down. Has that in any way affected your business, even though it's primarily online, right? I can go online and I can utilize
Yeah.
your platform. But have you seen any effects of the COVID pandemic in terms of what your operations have been?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, at the beginning of when everything started, I'm going to say March, April, all the way to the end of June, everything was paralyzed. You couldn't even hold open houses in New York. No showings were allowed. When things started to open, we've seen, I guess we were not expecting the market to kind of bounce back so fast. And this depends on which side you're on. So it's definitely New York right now a buyer's market. So if you're in the in the search for a property, now is a great time to buy. If you're selling, you're gonna sell at a loss. So depending which side you're on, things are moving fast. Even though so there's two sides, right? Listings and for rentals and selling. So for rentals, things definitely slow down. Rents have gone down. Colleges are doing online, so you have 100,000 students who usually come to New York every year not coming. You have young professionals in the big tech companies. You have Facebook, you have Amazon, you have Google, who has a whole block in Chelsea, working remotely. So why pay $3,000 for an apartment in New York when you can pay $1,000 in Miami? I don't know. So there's really a lack of need for people to move for rentals. However, for buying and selling, the inventory is limited, right? There's such a limited amount of space in Manhattan that there's always going to be people who want to move, upgrade. So that sector has recently just activated, and properties are selling. They're selling at a loss for sure, but things have started to pick up, luckily.
Okay, good. Let me ask about any, because again, you're changing the whole mindset in terms of everything that you're doing. Are you getting assistance, or how is from a legal perspective, right? When you actually go, are there lobbyists? Are there folks within the overall legal system? Working with, is the governor working with you, saying, this is the new way to go, as opposed to
For sure.
stay with the old regimen, stay with the old mindset, things of that nature? Are there incentives coming from a government perspective that are in your
Yeah,
favor?
absolutely. Local government has 100% not only approved, but has incentivized brokers to give cash back, to provide incentive for buyers to
Awesome.
close. Why? Because there's 25,000 brokers who most of them don't do a transaction a year. So the fact, it's a slow change, because you on one end you have local governments enforcing and trying to get brokers to kind of close deals, but you have a huge lobbyist industry with the big agencies who kind of want to slow things down. So everything we do is 100% legal. The Attorney General has stated multiple times that giving cashback to clients is legal. The cashback that we get is not taxed. The cashback that you receive as a customer, as a client, the IRS has not considered capital gains, so you're not taxed on it. So there's a lot of
Okay.
incentives that have been 100%, given the blessing of legal authorities, for sure.
Okay. What is well, I've got the site here, and I'll see in the show notes after we go off air. I'll include your link and just some resources for folks that are in the New York and Connecticut area, so they can get rid of the old style and start using
Saving money, for sure.
that. I mean, again, when you break it down and you say again, you're not taking the money away from the broker. Everyone gets their fair share. It's just a more
Correct.
efficient means of doing the same process, especially for the buyer, right? If you can make
So
it
we
more,
work on exactly. Sorry to interrupt, but we work with both
yeah.
sides. So as the buyer, I will give you 2/3 of my commission. As the seller, I will sell your apartment for as low as 1%. So it's the seller who pays the broker fees, right? So my
Yeah.
fees and the other broker fees will come from the seller. So if I work for the seller, I'm saving him as much as 5%, because I can work for as low as 1. And if I'm working for the buyer, I'm giving him literally cash at the closing table of 2/3 of my commission. So the page that you just showed, where there's a calculator that moves, is very easy for people to just see the amount of money they will be getting literally at the closing table. So you calculate, it's a very simple number. You just put in the average amount, what you're looking for, and then you're gonna get the 2/3 of our commission, just very clearly.
All right, that's just win-win all over.
Exactly.
All right, now I'm gonna have some controversy probably with my West Coast real estate professionals. When are you coming over here?
I would love to. Yeah, that would be the big next step for sure. Absolutely.
Okay. So in terms of, and I threw that out there. That's probably midterm, long term kind of thing.
Yeah,
But from a
absolutely.
from a short term perspective, what's next for you guys, right? Or are you continuing to maintain status quo and just continue to push your message out, or is there something new that you have on the short term
there's
horizon?
never a status quo. I mean, we're always trying to grow. We're always trying to just get more clients. And listen, the sky is the limit. We want to get known. We want people to understand how simple it is to save money, how easy it is to work with us. The outstanding level of professionalism you're going to receive from me and my agents. And it's just, again, a win-win. You're going to get yourself the property with outstanding services for a fraction of the price. It's really a no-brainer.
So why aren't more people doing it?
Exactly.
But that's why we have the show. That's why we bring timely, relevant news of the day, and we bring interesting folks together. So, Nicole, anything else specifically you want to say? I've got like I said, the website up now, and I will definitely put on infotainment news.
People could log in, check us out. We're available for email, chat, text, whatever works. I have a newborn at home, so I'm up 24 hours a day.
I love
it. We're here, we're excited, and I feel like, even though it's been a very hard year for everyone, and there's so many people who are struggling, I feel like crisis creates opportunities, and we just want to take advantage of it, in a good way, and just try to improve. We give a percentage of our earnings to local charities in New York. We believe in giving back and kind of having the community grow with us. So I feel like it's just a nice and it's a beautiful moment to do good things and work hard and just try and keep the business going.
I love it. I may steal that quote though. Crisis creates opportunities. That may be on my Instagram story later on tonight.
Give me some credit, James.
I will. I'll tag you in that for sure. Nicole, thank you very much for taking some time. I will talk to you soon again when I post this on there. And best of luck to you and your organization and all that you do.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you.
Bye.